Okay, let's unpack this. We are doing a deep dive today into, well, quite a remarkable journey. It's about Gobinda Lama, the founder of Prime America Real Estate. Our source material covers his path from Rumakap, a small village in Nepal, all the way to the top of New York City real estate. It's pretty incredible.
Absolutely. And our mission here is to really pull apart his blueprint for success.
Yeah.
We're looking at, I'd say, three main things. First, his core philosophy, why he argues real estate is the real foundation of wealth. Second, those critical financial insights, particularly around the U.S. tax system, what separates owners from earners. And third, his very practical rules, the 7 golden rules and that 4 L's framework he uses.
Right. So if you're feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed by just information overload, but you want a clear way to build some serious financial momentum, well, this dive is definitely for you. We really have to start with his background. I mean, it's where his core values come from, that perseverance, that foresight. Lama was born in 1977, Ramakap, Nepal, and into a large family, a complex one too. 14 siblings total from 2 wives.
Wow, 14. That's a lot.
It is. But he points to a specific moment when he was just 8 years old as really shaping his whole outlook.
That's right. It was the death of his first mother, as he calls her. He talks about the huge emotional cost, of course, but also the financial burden of the traditional rituals, things like building a Buddha stupa in her name. It apparently created this immediate, almost overwhelming pressure.
Like a fear.
Yeah, a deep fear of being financially unprepared. It forced him, even as a kid, to see the need for, well, building something lasting, something tangible, a legacy.
So his drive wasn't just about getting rich. It was rooted in this feeling of responsibility, almost like a financial defense mechanism learned really young.
Precisely. And you see that same kind of determination, that willingness to push against norms in his personal life, too, like his decision to marry his wife, Surya. It was an intercaste marriage.
Which was a huge deal in Nepal at the time, right?
A massive deal. The sources mentioned it took enormous courage and persistence just to make it official. So he was challenging systems way before he got to New York.
And even before landing in the U.S., he was already, building things. Didn't he craft a huge Buddha statue?
He did a 42-foot statue.
Huh.
And he also founded a language and computer institute back in 1996. Always building, like you said.
It fits perfectly with his main metaphor, doesn't it? Every towering skyscraper begins with a single brick.
Exactly. He sees life and wealth as this kind of cumulative process.
Yeah.
Construction. And that belief flows right into his big argument about real estate, why it's not just one investment option, but really the foundation for, as he puts it, every living being.
He ties it back to the absolute basics of survival.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how simple he makes it. He boils it down to the 4 fundamental human needs: food, shelter, clothing, and medicine.
Okay.
And his point is all 4 are fundamentally tied to physical land.
Mhm.
Food comes from farmland, shelter, built on land, clothing, resources grown from the land.
And medicine, too.
Yep. The factories making drugs, the hospitals, the research labs, they all need physical space. They all sit on real estate.
So if the basics of life depend on land, then everything else, all other investments are just sort of built on top of that.
That's his argument. Think about it. Gold, mined from the earth.
Yeah.
Oil and gas,
Yeah.
extracted from land. Stocks represent companies that use physical offices, warehouses,
Even crypto.
even crypto. Those servers need physical data centers on land. So real estate is like the fundamental infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable for the whole economy. It underpins life itself, and
Yeah.
therefore, he argues, it's the root of all wealth.
That's a really powerful way to frame it, and it definitely sets the stage for how he applies this thinking within the modern financial world. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Lama doesn't just talk philosophy, he uses his own experience to kind of expose the hidden rules of the financial system, the reasons why people often struggle, even if they're working incredibly hard. He talks about this education gap.
Right, the education gap. It's simple, but wow, it's impactful. He says the standard education system teaches you how to be a really good employee. Write a killer resume, ace the interview, manage your budget.
How to fit in, basically.
Exactly. But it doesn't teach you how to be an owner. It doesn't teach you how to read a property deed or understand zoning laws or how to use debt strategically. And that knowledge gap, well, it keeps millions locked in that employee mindset.
Which leads straight to what he calls the system advantage. This is the core mechanism creating that wealth divide he talks about.
So, okay, if I'm an employee right now, what's the key thing holding me back, according to Lama?
It's all about the timing of taxes. Simple as that. As an employee, you pay taxes first.
Right, it comes right out of the paycheck.
Exactly. Federal, state, local, it's gone before you even see it. You only get to spend what's left over. But the The owner pays taxes last.
How does that work? They collect the income from their asset, let's say rent. Then they deduct all the legitimate expenses related to owning and managing that asset. They use tax advantages built right into the IRS code. And then, only then, maybe, they pay taxes on whatever profit is left.
That difference in timing, it must compound massively over time.
Hugely. It's why the system fundamentally rewards owning assets over just earning wages through labor.
Okay, that's a big shift in thinking. Let's get into the specifics. What are these powerful tools in the IRS code that real estate owners actually use?
Well, the one that often blows people's minds is depreciation. It's sometimes called the phantom expense.
Phantom expense, why?
Because the IRS lets owners deduct a portion of the building's cost each year, acknowledging that buildings theoretically wear out. It's 27.5 years for residential, 39 for commercial.
Okay, makes sense. Buildings get old.
And here's the kicker, what's often happening in the real world.
The property value is actually going up.
Exactly. So you are legally reporting a loss on paper, which reduces your taxable income, even while your asset is appreciating and you're collecting rent. It's like a government subsidy for owning property. It's huge.
Wow. Okay, and what about for just regular homeowners, people owning the house they live in?
There's a massive benefit there too, usually when you sell. It's a capital gains exclusion. If it's your primary home, when you sell it, a married couple can exclude up to $500,000 of the profit from taxes, completely tax-free.
$500,000, tax-free.
Yep. And singles can exclude $250,000. That's pure profit that the tax man never touches. It's why owning your home is arguably the best forced savings plan available to most Americans.
Okay, but you mentioned the real engine for building generational wealth. That was the 1031 exchange, right?
Yeah.
Now, that sounds complex. Is that something only big-time investors can use? Does it widen the gap?
That's a really important question. And while big players definitely use it, the principle is accessible. People need to understand it. So the 1031 exchange lets an investor sell an investment property, not their primary home, and defer paying capital gains taxes on the profit if they reinvest that money into another like-kind property, usually another investment property.
So you sell, make a profit, but don't pay tax on it right away. You just roll it into the next property, like kicking the can down the road.
You are kicking the can, yes. But here's the truly amazing part, the part that builds generational wealth. It connects to something called the stepped-up basis.
Stepped-up basis. Okay, what's that?
When the owner eventually passes away, their heirs inherit the property. Now, the basis that's basically the original cost used for calculating taxes gets stepped up to whatever the property's fair market value is at the time of death.
Wait, so what happens to all that deferred tax from the 1031 exchanges over the years?
It just vanishes. Poof. All those deferred capital gains are effectively erased. The government never collects that tax. The next generation inherits the asset, often with little to no debt, and a completely clean tax slate based on the current value.
That's credible. That's how dynasties are built, financially speaking.
That is exactly how generational wealth is often built and preserved through real estate.
And when you combine that mechanism with the effect of inflation, it's just crystal clear why owners tend to pull ahead.
Absolutely. Inflation crushes wage earners, right? Your salary buys less each year. But for a property owner with a fixed-rate mortgage, inflation is your friend.
How so?
Your rents tend to go up with inflation. Your property value generally rises with inflation. But your mortgage payment stays fixed, so your debt effectively shrinks in real terms, while your asset value and income climb. It's a powerful dynamic.
Okay, understanding those financial mechanics is crucial. But Lama makes it clear theory isn't enough. You need execution. Which brings us to his professional playbook, those 7 golden rules he developed in the pressure cooker of the New York City market. Maybe we can group these a bit. Let's start with knowledge and tech.
Sounds good. Rule #1 is fundamental. Understand your market. Lama really hammers this. He says the days when you could just rely on years of experience, they're over. Why? Because every buyer, every seller today walks in the door armed with information from Zillow, Property Shark, all these online tools.
So you have to be smarter than the internet.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Your knowledge needs to be deeper, sharper, and more current than what's publicly available. You need insight, not just information.
Which ties directly into rule #4, leverage technology. He argues this isn't just nice to have anymore, it's essential.
Absolutely non-negotiable. He sees it as a survival issue. Things like 3D virtual tours, AI for analyzing market trends, sophisticated data tools for finding leads. If you're not using these to maximize your marketing reach and just make your own operations more efficient, you're falling behind those who are. adapt, or, well, you get left behind.
Okay, so knowledge and tech are critical, but then there's the human side. Even in a tough market like NYC, he stresses that success isn't a solo act. Let's talk integrity and network.
Right. Rule #7 is personal branding. This is all about the long game. He says trust is the absolute currency in real estate. Your reputation built on being honest, being knowledgeable, acting with integrity, you have to guard that fiercely. Never sacrifice long-term trust for a quick win.
And that integrity, that trust, is what makes Rule #2 and Rule #6 even possible, right?
Exactly. Rule #2 is build relationships. Lama's quote here is great. A transaction might last weeks, but a solid relationship lasts a lifetime. Think about it. One happy client. They might bring you 10 referrals over the years. That's how you build a sustainable business, not just chasing the next deal.
Yeah, moving from being transaction-focused to relationship-driven.
Precisely. And Rule #6, team building, drives that point home.
Mm.
He tells that story about his friend, right? The one who tried to be Superman.
Yeah, handling everything himself. Marketing, showings, negotiations, paperwork, all of it.
And what happened? He nearly burned out completely. Hit a health crisis. Realized trying to do everything alone is it's a trap. You can't scale that way. Real success needs collaboration. And Lama practices what he preaches. Just look at the acknowledgments in his materials. He specifically thanks his network.
The attorneys.
Yep, Kelowna,
Oh.
Ososhinak.
Right.
The mortgage VPs like Crowley, Allen, Vasquez. The home inspectors like Chen and Wang. It shows he relies on a specialized team. You have to build that support structure.
Okay, those 7 rules are comprehensive. But, 7 things. It can still feel like a lot to juggle, especially if you're just starting out or trying to level up. That's why his synthesis framework, the power of 4 L's, is so helpful, I think. It simplifies things down to 4 core action pillars. It structures the daily application of all that wisdom.
It really does. It takes it from philosophy and rules down to, like, what do I actually do today? So the first L is learn. Nonstop growth. He literally suggests dedicating time daily, maybe 45 minutes, to study.
Study what specifically?
Market reports, changes in real estate law, new financing options. His mantra is simple. The more you learn, the more you earn. It connects right back to Rule #1, understand your market. If you stop learning, the market just passes you by.
Okay, learn. What's the second L?
The second is lead. This is about actively generating opportunities.
So not just waiting for the phone to ring.
Exactly. It means consistently marketing yourself, using that personal brand integrity from Rule #7. It means diversifying where your leads come from, not relying on just one source. Leading means creating opportunities.
Makes sense. Learn, lead. What's third?
Third L is listing. Lama sees getting listings as potentially a career-defining activity.
Why so much emphasis on listings?
Because, as he puts it, one good listing can change your career. Think about it. A listing is your public showcase. It demonstrates your pricing skill, your negotiation tactics, your marketing ability. A well-handled listing doesn't just attract buyers for that property, it attracts other sellers who see your competence and want you to list their property. It's a powerful magnet.
It's like your portfolio on display.
Exactly. It's the physical proof of your expertise.
Okay, learn, lead, listing. And the final L is crucial for making it all manageable. Leverage.
Yes, leverage. This is all about working smarter, not harder. It's the practical application of Rule #4 technology and Rule #6 team building. It means using tools effectively like the MLS, the multiple listing service, which gives you access to, over 1.5 million other agents in the NAR network. Massive exposure.
But it's also about people and systems, right?
Absolutely. It's about automating repetitive tasks. Using virtual assistants, using software for CRM or transaction management, freeing up your time to focus on the high-value stuff, negotiating deals, building those key relationships. You simply can't lead or handle listings effectively if you're bogged down in busy work. You have to leverage.
So when you put it all together, what does this framework really tell us?
It shows that success in this field, Lama's success, wasn't luck. It wasn't an accident.
Right. It's deliberate.
It's the deliberate result of combining that core philosophy of ownership with these very specific, actionable daily disciplines. The 4 L's give you a clear roadmap for putting those 7 golden rules into practice.
It's the whole system, from mindset to daily action, from Nepal to New York City.
That's the path. Hashtag tag outro. Lama's whole story really proves that where you start. It just doesn't have to define where you end up, whether you began in Ramakap, Nepal, or like he did when he first arrived in the U.S., working at McDonald's. It doesn't matter. What matters is that commitment to ownership, to constantly learning, and crucially, to understanding and using the financial system intelligently. That seems to be the blueprint.
It really does, and that brings us back to that wealth divide. Lama's work makes it painfully clear, doesn't it? The financial system is designed to reward those who own assets